Hello, hockey fans. Welcome to the Minnesota Hockey Connection Show. We're at PACT-TV Studios, and we got a lot of hockey to talk about this week. I mean, we got UMD winning a series. The Wild were playing great. They just lost their first game in 12 games. I mean, they're doing really well, and high school is already in their fourth week, and we got big games in high school coming up and the holiday tournaments coming up. So let's get started. I'm going to start at the top with the Wild. The Wild went on the road this week, and they were out down in Florida, and they beat Florida 4-2 on last Tuesday night. And boy, Zuccarelli Susi, our former UMD player, scored a goal, his third of the year. And Kunin scored, and they scored 4 goals, and we beat Florida 4-2 on Tuesday night. Then they ran up the freeway to Tampa, and the Tampa Bay Lightning, one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. And that night they beat Tampa 5-4. This is Thursday night, December 5th. And Susi got another goal. And Zuccarelli and Zucker scored again too. So I guess when Zucker scores, Zuccarelli scores. And Victor Rask scored, and Eriksson Ek. So we got a lot of different people scoring. 5 different people on Thursday night. And Tuesday night we had 4 different players. Then on Saturday, it caught up to us with a very good Carolina Hurricane team. They beat the Wild 6-2. But hey, it's been a good run, and now they come home for 3 games at home at the XL Energy Center. And Tuesday they got Anaheim Ducks. Tuesday at December 10th. And then Thursday, December 12th, we got Edmonton. And then Saturday, December... wait, I'm sorry. It's not... I'm confused here. I didn't put it down, who we play. But, so we got 3 games at home, though. December 10th, Thursday the 12th, and Saturday the 14th. So all of them will be on Fox Sports North, and if you're in Wisconsin on Tuesday and Thursdays, Fox Sports Wisconsin will catch those games. So, hey, the Wild are above 500, and boy, they're looking good, and they're in the mix again for a playoff spot. So, and it's real close now. There's about 6-7 teams that are fighting for playoff spots. It's only not even halfway through the season, so it's a long way to go. So we'll see what happens there. Well, good for the Wild. In college, UMD, they went down to Omaha, and I'll tell you, they looked pretty good down there. On the first night, Cole Koepke scored a couple goals in the third period. He sniped a couple, really. And UMD beat Omaha 6-3. Noah Cates got a couple goals in that game too. So that's UMD was rolling into Saturday then, and all of a sudden Omaha picked up their game a little bit, and UMD still won 4-3. And Koepke got another goal, and 3 other players for UMD: Jackson Cates, Kobe Rock, and Justin Richards all scored. So right now, Cates is probably, I think he's the leading scorer for them on goals with 9. And then Koepke, he's up to 6 already, getting 3 this weekend. I bet he'll be NCHC forward of the week. It's a good possibility there, so we'll find that out in the next couple days. Then Kobe Roth got his 6. He's out in there power play, and he does a good job on that power play. So UMD takes the rest of the month off now, and then they get back at the end of after the holidays. They go out east to Massachusetts, Andover, and play Merrimack. St. Cloud They beat Miami of Ohio both games, so two good wins for St. Cloud State. And they'll be playing Nebraska Omaha next weekend up at home. So they'll have one more series before they take a break. Then another Minnesota team, Minnesota State. They let's see, who did they beat? I guess I don't have them. Okay, the Gophers are out in Ohio State, and the first night they lost in overtime to Ohio State 3-2. Then the next night they went into overtime and tied. So two close games, and then they'll play. They got this Mariucci Classic, but they're bringing all the Minnesota teams except UMD in this tournament. And this will be the 28th and 29th of December, and we'll have Minnesota playing Bemidji State on the 28th, and then St. Cloud State playing Minnesota State, who's the number one team in pairwise right now. And then Minnesota will play the winner of St. Cloud State, Minnesota State on the second night, and Bemidji State plays the other team. So that's if you want to see the Minnesota D1 colleges, get down to the Twin Cities to 3M Arena at Mariucci for the 28th and 29th of December. And then Minnesota State this week, this coming up on Friday and Saturday, they're out at Northern Michigan. They're playing our local boys team. Phil Ballou is a defenseman then out there in Northern Michigan, in Marquette. And hopefully he keeps on playing good. He was an All-American last year, so great kid and great player. And I wish I can watch him more, but he's out there in that UP. And staying with college, the pairwise. Pairwise, the top 16 teams get to the NCAA tournament, and 4 regions, 4 teams each. So right now, the pairwise has Minnesota State number 1, North Dakota number 2, Cornell number 3. Boston College has picked it up a lot, and they moved up to number 4. And tied with Boston College at number 4 is Denver. Number 6, Penn State. Number 7, Bowling Green. Ohio State, number 8. Arizona State, number 9. Massachusetts, number 10. UMass Lowell, number 11. UMD, 12. Michigan Tech, 13. Notre Dame, 14. Clarkson, 15. And Providence, 16. Like I say, the top 16 make it, but when they have the tournaments at the end of the year, you can be just a 500 team, and if you win your tournament, you get into the top 16 automatic. You get an automatic bid. So usually at the end of the season, whoever's in, usually up to 11, 12, usually make it to the tournament, and then automatic bids make it. So we'll keep on checking pairwise each week and see how the Minnesota teams are doing, and keep you in touch on that. Okay, a lot of high school hockey. I'm just going to start out with the rankings in high school hockey right now too. I'm going to start with Class AA. Class AA, we still have Eden Prairie at 3-0, number 1. Rosemont jumped up. They're 5-0, they're number 2. Number 3, a team that just came up to Duluth and beat Duluth East 7-1. They're number 3 at 2-1. And another thing, I can't remember an East team losing in running time. They got 6-goal lead end of the third period, but still, you don't see East teams losing by 6. Number 4, Maple Grove, 4-0. Number 5, Benil St. Margaret, 3-1-1. And Hermantown and Benil tied on Saturday, so it was a good game. And Hermantown, they showed their stuff down in cities this weekend. They played number 1 Eden Prairie, and it was a close game, but they lost 4-2 at the end, and then they tied Benil. And going into that 2 games, they played the number 1 and number 2 team in Class AA. So Hermantown, they got a good chance of getting down the state and doing some damage again, it looks like. Number 6 in Class AA, Hill Murray. Hill Murray is really playing good right now. They beat a very good Blake team 8-2 on Saturday. And Blake started out the season in the top 5. Number 7, White Bear Lake, team that beat Duluth East Open East season 5-0, is 3-0-1, and they're number 7. Blaine, number 8. Blake, 4-2 record, number 9. And Lakeville South is number 10. And then 5 teams to watch. I have Edina, Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids just dropped out of the top 10, but I see them going back into the top 10. They lost to a very good War Road team, so it's good to see War Road back playing top 10 hockey in Minnesota. And then we got Lakeville North, Moorhead, and Stillwater as the top 5 teams to watch. So let's move over to Class A. Hermantown. Good weekend, even though they only got a tie and a loss, but they competed against the number 1 and 2 teams in the state in Class AA. So Hermantown I'm going to keep at number 1 at 2-1-1. East Grand Forks is 5-0-1. St. Cloud Cathedral 3-1. Warlord 5-0. Undefeated so far. Orono 4-0-1. Montemita 4-1. Alexandria 5-1. Duluth Denfield now 3-1. They just went out to Cloquet on Thursday night, and I was up there watching that game. This is I like this team, this Denfield Hunter team. They got a sophomore line that might have some of the most skilled players in the Northland on this line. They got these McClure twins and Davidson, whose dad played in college up at University of North Dakota and coached up there. So, well, I know he coached up there. So that's if you get out to watch Hermantown, watch these kids, these sophomores. Their numbers are 8, 14, and 18. When you see good kids, skilled kids, you remember the numbers. So we got Duluth Denfield 3-1 at number 8. Thief River Falls, even though they're 3-1, they played some tough competition, and they're still the real deal. And then St. Paul Johnson City team is 4-0. And then 5 teams to watch: Delano, Greenway, Little Falls, Monticello, and North Branch. It's kind of funny seeing North Branch. You never seen them in the top 10 or teams to watch before. And another thing is they don't have a home rink. They have to go over to Chicago City to play their games. They call that their home rink. So it's kind of amazing to see teams that have to practice outside their area and then play their games outside their area, playing so good. So good for them and good for the program, and hopefully they can get an arena up there in North Branch. I was just looking at the schedule coming up this week, and some of the games I really, if I was just being a hockey fan and not following my kid or our local team that I always follow or something, these are the games I would try to get to. On Tuesday, December 10th, Rosal and Moorhead. these are big rivalries now. Roseau and Moorhead, 6 p.m. out there in Moorhead. Matamita in Class A is playing Monticello at 7 p.m. The next night, Wednesday, December 11th. St. Thomas Academy is playing Benil. A big matchup between two private schools at 7 p.m. out there in St. Louis Park. On Thursday, December 12th, even though Duluth East is starting out real slow, their big rivalry and one of the biggest rivalries in the state of Minnesota in boys hockey, Duluth East is at Cloquet, 7:30. So you can always throw away the records when these two play, and it's always an exciting game. East Grand Forks is out at Alexandria, two top 10 teams in Class A. And a big rivalry down in south of the cities, right south suburbs, Lakeville South at Lakeville North. And then Greenway is here. This is the postponed game they had a little over a week ago. Is down here playing Duluth Denfield. So this is the makeup game. So I'm glad they rescheduled it. And that's on Thursday night, December 12th at 7:30 at the Heritage Center. So if you want to watch a good Class A, and there's a good chance these two teams can play in the playoffs too. So Greenway at Duluth Denfield. And if you get out there, you get to see these some of these Denfield kids that really impressed me. Then Thief River Falls is up at Railroad. And like I say, Railroad is the real deal this year, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them come to state, but they have a lot of competition in Section 8A with Thief River Falls. They got East Grand Forks, which is number 2 in the state. And Friday, December 13th, we got Stillwater, one of the teams to watch, my top 5 teams to watch. And over at number 1, Eden Prairie at 7:30. Then Saturday, December 14th, Lakeville South is at Rosemont. Rosemont, boy, it's a very good team. But sometimes I wonder in their schedule with their conference and that might hurt them, but we'll see. This is a big matchup for both of these teams. So then let me get into, since we're in high school hockey, there's a lot of tournaments coming. A lot of tournaments. And I'm going to start just before Christmas, and I go to this all the time. It's Edina Classic down at Braemar in Edina. And they always have this the week before Christmas, Thursday, Friday, Saturday before Christmas, and they've been bringing in the same 4 teams. Elk River, Eden Prairie, the number 1 team. Grand Rapids, that's been in and out the top 10. Edina, same thing, in and out of the top 10. So those 4 teams, and what happens is they play each other, so they get to play each team over the 3-night period. So they get big crowds over there, and sometimes they fill the place, like when EP and Edina play, that the place is usually full, so they can hold over 3,000 there. And I'll tell you what, this is a big matchup for Edina and EP because they play each other in the same conference 2 other times. So in other words, they play each other 3 times. And then after Christmas, the schedules aren't out in a lot of the tournaments, the teams that come in. I don't know why they're so late in putting them out there. But 3 of the tournaments that usually I go down to the cities for because they have the top Class AA teams is the Tradition in the Park, which is at St. Louis Park. And the 8 teams that are going to be there is going to be Maple Grove, which is number 4, Rosemont, which is number 2, Andover, which is number 3, Benil, which is number 5, Lakeville South, which is number 10, and then Elk River, Holy Family, and Minnetonka in that tournament. Then over in Plymouth, this tradition at the Plymouth Ice Center, we got Hill Murray, which is number 6. We got Blaine, number 8. Blake, number 9. Then we got Wayzata, Cretin, a local team, Cloquet's in that, and Centennial, and then St. Michael, Albertville. And they don't, both of these, all these tournaments, they don't play tournament bracket. What they do is they play 3 teams in that group. And like on St. Louis Park is probably where I'll be most of the time. I'll go up to Plymouth probably, and I might go down to Prior Lake. But on the day after Christmas, we got Lakeville South at ER at noon. The game I'll see is Rosemont at Andover at 2:30, and Holy Family versus Benil at 5, and then Tonka at Maple Grove at 7:30. Then the next day, on let's see, that'll be Friday, we got Lakeville South playing Benil, and Tonka in Andover. And then we got, let's see, who did I miss? Holy Family, Tonka. Oh, Rosemont and Maple Grove. That'll be another good game. Then the 28th, we got Maple Grove and Lakeville South. Rosemont and Elk River. Benil and Tonka. And Andover and Holy Family. Then over in Plymouth, let's see, we got on the 26th, Cloquet will be playing Blaine at 5 p.m. That'll be Thursday the 26th. And Cretin at Centennial at 2:30. And Hill at Wayzata at 7:30. On the 27th, Friday, Blaine versus Cretin, noon. St. Michael Albertville is playing Wayzata at 2:30. Hill and Cloquet at 5 o'clock. That's a big matchup for Cloquet. And Blake and Centennial at 7:30. Then we go to Saturday. Hill and St. Michael at noon. Cloquet, Centennial, 2:30. Cretin, Blake, 5 o'clock. And Blaine and Wayzata at 7:30. Then down at the Youth Hockey Hub, Hockey for Life at Prior Lake, down by the casino, Mystic Lake. Arena's right next door there. We got 8 good teams there too. Eden Prairie, number 1 team. Moorhead, Edina, Lakeville North, St. Thomas Academy, Chaska, Prior Lake, Tortina Grace. Funny thing about that, you get these 3 tournaments. There's only about 5 other teams that would be in the top 25 in Class AA, so they got the majority. I mean, at least they got about 20 teams that are in these 3 tournaments that would be in ranking if you rank 25 teams in these 3 tournaments. So the big tournaments are at St. Louis Park, Plymouth, and Prior Lake. There's a lot of other tournaments all over the state too. So if your local teams there, support them and get down. Like the Heritage Center will have it up north here in Duluth, where Denfield will be playing. Duluth Marshall will have their Hilltopper tournament. 2 Harbors, Silver Bay, North Shore will have their tournament up there. And 2 Harbors, and I don't know, they probably have it both places. And then all over the state, same thing. I mean, there are a lot of other tournaments going on, but the 3 big ones will be at St. Louis Park, Plymouth, and down in Prior Lake. Let's talk a little bit about the local teams, where I see them. Let's start with Duluth East. I'm pretty amazed at Duluth East. I've been following them since '91, and I see most of their games in person. And Mike Randolph, I mean, he does one heck of a job always getting his teams ready for playoffs. And there's been a few years that they didn't have the team that you thought would compete, but at the end of the year, I think two of his worst teams, somehow they got to the state and played good at state. But this year might be their hardest. They only have one returning player that played the whole season. There's about 7, 8 players that played, 5 to 10 games, come up from JV or through an injury might have played. So, I mean, they don't have too much, probably the least experienced team out there in Class AA in the top 50 teams maybe. But they had a winning team with the JV team last year. And so it's going to take time. Plus, you got to understand that East plays some of the top teams in the state. It's always one of the top records, scheduling in the state. They got like White Bear Lake, top 10. Lakeville South, top 10. Andover, top 10. Blaine, top 10. We got Minnetonka started out in the top 10. We got Grand Rapids, been in the top 10. Eden Prairie, which is number 1. Moorhead, it's right at the top. Trying to get into the top 10. We got Maple Grove, that's been in the top 5, really. So there's a lot of teams, and then there's a lot of other teams that would be in the 10 to 20, 11 to 20 area. So East has their work cut out for them, and the challenge is there. And we'll see what Coach Randolph, what he can do with this team this year. But hey, they work hard, and I'm sure by working hard and good things will happen. And a strong schedule, even though they might lose some games that aren't competitive, but they'll learn from it. And I think by the end of the year, if they can stay healthy, I think the team can do some upsets at the end of the year. Denfield, I like a lot. The only problem I have with Denfield, and I'm sure they're going to try to fix it, it's hard when you get a better, tougher schedule. And it's hard when if you haven't been really winning or getting to state or anything that people want to schedule you. But I think there'll be teams that notice this team, and I think they'll, one step at a time, and they'll get their schedule ready. They got the coaching, they got the players. And they like they enjoy the game over there at Denfield, where they just like playing. It's like rink rat hockey. I love it. So get out to see them this year. Proctor got a new coach, assistant coach, Scott Piant. So get out there and watch some of these local teams. We'll talk more about them in the next couple of weeks. And if it doesn't snow, we will get a guest coach. So tell the snow to stop, folks. So I want to thank everyone, the staff at PACT-TV, Jim, Liz, and, well, we'll see you at the rink. Thanks.